Hello, I'm X Toycat, and Realism Craft and Realism have been two very popular dynamic worlds, and that's why I was very curious to see two brand new ones this week called Insane Mode and, yes, Meme Olympics, and these both had very horrible ratings. I assumed they would be the worst rated pieces of dynamic world content out there, but then I saw this. It's called 2D Craft, but clearly the 2 actually stands for the rating it has. It is one of the worst reviewed pieces of content I've seen on the entire marketplace, but does it actually deserve that rating? Well, today, let's find out by playing and then breaking it and then explaining what actually is a dynamic world, because it's something you probably have the question of, even though these clearly are a popular piece of content. So let's jump into it right now by hitting buy. So this is 2D survival, and as you can see, it's not actually 2D immediately, because I can move forwards and backwards, and I can move my head, and I can jump in all 3 dimensions, but obviously the gameplay is mostly meant to be on a 2-dimensional basis, where I can look at things like lecterns, which is so hard, by the way, like working out where to face, but we'll hopefully get the hands of it. So now we want to look at the target block above me, which is over there. Oh, there we go, look at this. Oh, yeah! And now, this green box shows my current vision. Use it as reference to move around from. Oh, that actually is very handy for the exact problem I was just referencing. Now I know I'm looking that way, I can move in relation to it. So I can also change lateral view and upper view. Huh. I don't know what those things are, but I'll leave them how they were. No, I won't. I can't fix it. Okay, so now I am ready to play some Minecraft. Oh, yeah. So there's achievements to be unlocked. These are specific to this map outside of the regular Minecraft achievements, it sounds like. And then also, if I can go back a little bit, oh god, it's so hard to control. If we go back a little bit, we'll look at the visuals, where we can actually go to first-person view. Oh, that's actually pretty cool. I feel like that's fun, but that's not the point of what we're doing today. So let's go back to enable coordinates. Oh, that's fun. And then let's go back to third person. Oh, how do we... Oh, we hit this to do that. So there's basically just 2 options, but here we go. 2D view is back on. So this is a dynamic world, which means that even though I just started this and I've got this birch tree right next to me and an oak tree, in theory, I should be able to load this up again and get an entirely different world. Getting a little bit of deja vu here, but hello, my BX Toycat, and I'm just going to skip through all of this. Oh, you literally can't. You have to... I'm going to have to look at that lectern first. Going to have to do some fun stuff, then look up towards the target block. See, I'm getting so much better already. No, I'm not. Oh, God. I've messed up. I think I've got my... Okay, I'm trying to look towards the target block. Why won't it let me do it? There we go. Okay. Yeah. And now I stand on the pressure plate. It's so awkward to do this. I think I understand the bad reviews already, but look at me now. This is not a dynamic world at all, actually. This is exactly the same as the world I was just in. Maybe the ore spawns differently? Let's test that. Let's dig straight down. Oh, I wasn't expecting to find no ore. Gonna be honest with you there. So let's dig ourselves out here. And let's chop down some trees. So it's a little awkward that the world is 2 blocks deep. I don't know why they did that, besides so you can walk past trees maybe, and stuff like that in the environment. But it feels very, very odd. Anyway, now I can craft, just like normal it looks like. Yeah, I don't know why I was expecting some more fancy 2D crafting, but it takes me out of it the tiniest bit having to do this. But there we go. Let's grab a wooden pickaxe. And now let's dig down. It's so hard to work out where I'm going. Let's dig right down. The good news is unlike regular Minecraft, where this is potentially a bad idea, it works just great here. And even better is the fact that we don't need any torches, because light doesn't seem to work in the normal way. In fact, whoa, are we going straight to the nether, or am I just... Is this just a cool cave? I think this is a cool cave right here, yeah. Okay, let's come back here on the other world, confirm that it is at least different there. I'll break a few more trees this time, though. This time I'm using a stone pickaxe, though, because I've officially gone fancy, and what I'm expecting to find is a slightly different underground, but I guess I'm entirely wrong. Okay, so you get the same world each time. Maybe that's on me. Maybe it doesn't automatically start you with random seed, it's just a choice. But I would still say it's not that much of a dynamic world if most people end up playing the exact same one. But maybe that's just, you know, my view of what a dynamic world is. And maybe it doesn't reflect the map. But just to confirm, it does work that way. 30224. No, it's a different seed. It works. How did this get through the marketplace review? It works with any seed, but it gives you the exact same world. That's not what dynamic means. So what does dynamic mean? Well, when Minecraft re-announced the dynamic worlds in June of 2024, they said that if you've ever created a new world in Minecraft, then you've experienced a dynamic world, because even if Minecraft has the same blocks, mob structures, and biomes available, each new world that you create generates these in a completely different order and combination. That means that every cave, woodland mansion, or coral reef you discover is unique, which is why exploring in Minecraft never gets old. Interestingly enough, this isn't perfectly true. Woodland mansions only have so many different variations, and so eventually you will find duplicates, but the idea is that Minecraft is different on every single seed, and so what if marketplace content could be too? This is a subsection of the marketplace. It's a type of Minecraft world that isn't easily searchable, but it means that it's a type of content that should change every time you load it up. So instead of getting the same experience every single time, you'll get something new based on Minecraft's seed system. This is a really clever way to have realistic style content without having to guarantee that you spawn in the same place each time, and that experience has been so great for so many that I would say dynamic worlds are the second most popular type of content after add-ons at this point. And so dynamic worlds should be dynamic, but as you can see, 2D world clearly isn't. I mean this with no disrespect against 2D world. I mean, I have my issues, but they're definitely not to do with this. But this is just fundamentally not a dynamic world, because a dynamic world, Minecraft world wouldn't be considered to be a random seed if no matter what seed you put in, you got the exact same result. And that's what happened right here. I don't know why I walked into cobwebs just now. That was one of the worst decisions I've made. So what we're going to do instead is we're going to head down here. I wonder if we can place blocks on the side. Oh, we can. But can we place them like down underneath where we are? We can't. So it is just, okay. It is just a 2D world with lots of weird things to be found around here. And honestly, it is a questionable experience to play this in third person. It's really, really cool in some areas, but it clearly is limited by Minecraft's tech on how the camera command works. If you're curious, that's a command that I use all the time for these videos. You might have noticed some of the fun edits we've been able to make from that. But that is something that Minecraft supports by itself, but clearly doesn't support in a way that is that perfect for actually controlling the game. But let's see how it is if we go a little deeper, maybe find some more fun things here. It's never going to feel intuitive to me that I have to walk slightly to the left and then forwards if I want to walk to the right. Something I can really appreciate is how interesting they made this one world, this not dynamic world, but it's interesting how much they've made a difference here by putting some weird scaffolding and some interesting biomes really, really close together. I really love small biomes in Minecraft. It's something I really miss from the console and the old style worlds from Minecraft Bedrock, and so it's cool to be able to see a small version of that, even if it is in a very different form factor than I'm maybe used to. And oh, look, we found some emeralds. Let's go mine them. Wait, I'm gonna need some iron first, so let's make sure we get some of that, or maybe just find a new cave. But yeah, as far as the concept goes, I don't actually hate this at all. I think this is a really solid concept, and I think the way that they've executed it with the biomes is really nice. I also feel like the control scheme for what Minecraft camera controls can do is really good. However, my issue is with basically everything else. We'll start with the controls, which are one of the most atrocious things about this. I understand that there's basically no way they can fix this within the camera command, but the way that the controls work is just really, really, really bad. I couldn't get the hang of it even after 20 plus minutes, and I'd theorize based on the fact that they have that control setting to go back into first person, that they know that this is going to be the case for a large number of people. It's a fun enough concept in my opinion, but when the controls don't work, neither does everything else. And speaking of everything working, even though the concept is fun and even though they built a fun idea with very small biomes, I don't like the way that the world actually seems to play out. They have a very limited experience, the exact opposite of what a dynamic world is meant to be, and then they manage to have that undynamic dynamic world be one which actually misses a lot of stuff. I mean, for one, you can see this doesn't go anywhere deeper than Deep Slate, which is something that's really disappointing. You wouldn't see that by yourself, but you just kind of run out of experience. You just have these very equally sized caves with nothing in them, and then you've got nothing after that besides maybe a geode. There's not even a stronghold. There's no access to the end. I tried to go there to see what would happen, and let me tell you, it's not very useful. And so we have, basically two separate missing experiences, which is what I want to talk about for my fourth point here, because ultimately, as good as all of that is, I think the actual unique reasons to play this, the things that they could have done uniquely here, are all missing. They worked out how to have Minecraft with a 2D camera. They built this whole world, I'm sure painstakingly in some way, but the actual end user result is one that doesn't actually get any benefit from it. There is nothing in this map that takes advantage of being 2D. Like I mentioned, the crafting is fully normal. The way you interact with the world is fully normal, except from a different vantage point, and that causes for all of the other nice little finishing touches and polish to just feel missing too. Did you know when I mine a block, it's not that you can't hear it because I've turned it down in this video, there is no block placing noise because my camera is all the way back here in front of the player and my player is over there. So I can't hear anything. I had to turn up the game music just to hear something. This is a small detail, but again, a very important one that is just gone. And the same thing is true for the map says it doesn't support multiplayer. I haven't tested it, but there are none of these nice touches to make this all worthwhile. Instead, this feels like a really nice concept that they got stuck at the drawing board with. They made a really nice prototype for, and then said, screw it, let's ship that prototype. It's a great idea that's just missing so much on the execution, and that is why this is the worst rated dynamic world, in my opinion, because if you think about this from an end user perspective, I'm trying to be generous as someone who understands marketplace content creation to some extent. Like, I understand they did something impressive here, but as an end user, you just get a map that's like, oh yeah, this isn't actually that fun to play with. It's not that unique. You can take away the one big unique selling point, and that's the more comfortable way to play it, which is always a bad sign. But even beyond those things, I think that the biggest problem is that it's not even dynamic. If you were someone who was excited, like a large number of people are, for dynamic worlds, it's the second biggest rising piece of content right after add-ons, like I mentioned. If you were someone who was going to get into this because it was a dynamic world, you would feel pretty cheated. In fact, at this point, I think we should probably be asking, why do people like dynamic worlds so much? Are dynamic worlds actually good? Inherently, the answer is no, because they're just mashup packs that work on any seed. As this world shows, the dynamic part can literally just be a seed box which is allowed to change. I have to imagine that breaks a marketplace rule, but the fact that it's up here proves that clearly it doesn't, and so in theory they allow for more customization of the world. A mashup pack will always be one fixed world that is the same every single time you load it up, whereas a dynamic world is allowed to change every single time, which could lead to some very unique situations. However, the actual implementation matters much more. If you look at, say, Realism Craft, as much as people like it, I mean, it is literally the single most popular piece of content this year, as far as I can tell from my limited viewpoint. However, I think that Realism Craft misses a lot of little details of how to actually implement, say, structures or how to implement certain biomes, and they're doing a really good job for a, like an early product, but it's something where I think that a perfectly crafted world might be better. I think that dynamic worlds, though, will eventually be the future, because this is what people really want when they're modifying their experience. For better or for worse, people have gotten the idea, mostly from YouTube and from other pieces of online content, that the way that you have the most fun in Minecraft with things that aren't the base game is when you modify it. Minecraft has one of the biggest early days modding scenes, and still kind of does on the Java edition, and so the Bedrock equivalent add-ons were always going to be successful, especially because of their ease of use and installation. But dynamic worlds achieve the exact same thing, but even crazier. They effectively work like a mod pack, like the sort of thing you'd see entire series made out of, and one of the reasons that that is such an appealing concept is because you're not just limited to modifying the very few things that add-ons can change. I mean, we only just started getting add-ons that can add new blocks to a world, but this changes every block that's in a world. It can change the very makeup of Minecraft and keep only the controls and base scheme and the base crafting, but you can change basically anything you want here, including textures, including the way the world generates, both in terms of blocks and in terms of what actually goes there, animals and more, and it can entirely add new things on top of all of that. This makes the world feel entirely different, and it means that I think this is probably going to be long-term the more appealing piece of content, because in the in the sense of ways you can modify your Minecraft, add-ons are very limited and only really make sense for long-term survival worlds. You can't put Realism Craft, at least not the world generation side of things, on, say, your Let's Play world or a 10,000-day-old world, and the biggest reason why is because it wasn't built for that. Add-ons are the only thing that you can do that with. However, they'll disable achievements which most players don't want, and so add-ons are going to have a very limited use, whereas dynamic worlds are going to be much more powerful, but that's kind of a work in progress. As you can see from this very dynamic world right here, they're not all very good right now, because room for creativity leaves room for things that get great, but also room for things that just don't quite hit their mark, which is sadly where 2D Craft lines up. So now, hopefully you've seen the worst rated map, you'll know not to buy this one, but also you know that this is where the most promise will probably be in the future if you are someone who likes to buy things from the marketplace, which, to be fair, is still not most Bedrock users by a long margin. With that said though, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, because I'll see you in the next one. Next week, I think Seed Sunday might be coming back. Also, was this store Sunday, but actually on a Sunday? What's wrong with me? Okay, goodbye.